So I found that to be really interesting because when you go out, especially in cities or in places that seem to have a very strong political identity, there is shock that people have not made up their minds yet or don't follow it as closely as a lot of people do who may be in our circle. That suggests to me that people are listening, didn't know, are still making up their minds. But what do you take away from that small sampling in a very key county?
Yeah, I think that it's exactly right when someone said that she was relatively unknown to them. You know, we think she's very known because she's the vice president. She goes on the trail, or out, in the country. She does foreign trips. She meets with world leaders. But to normal people, the president takes all the oxygen when it comes from messaging from the White House. So she was probably relatively unknown. And then they had the convention and she gave an incredible speech. Then she's been out on the trail talking about women's rights and reproductive freedom and laying out her policies for the economy. And then she had an incredible debate. So people are learning her story and are learning and seeing that she can be a leader. And I think that's what we're really seeing here is people now believe that she can be a leader. She can be the president. And that she does perform really strongly and has those leadership capabilities, which I think was what was probably unknown to people before those major events.
So, Mark, the poll shows key voting blocs have moved in Harris's favor since Biden's exit. The biggest change has been among voters 18 to 34, black voters, female voters, but still not quite enough to see a clear path to victory. So what are you watching for in the coming weeks?
Well, the key here is that at least to this point today, Harris has won the narrative war. This campaign was about one thing, to fill in the blanks of Kamala Harris. And if she wanted to do it one way, Donald Trump wanted to do it another way. I can't remember a time when a presidential candidate 40, 50 days out from an election had a positive rating. That's remarkable. And what's even more remarkable is that the incumbent vice president is seen as the candidate of change in an election when people really have an appetite for change. That's quite a messaging trick to be an incumbent and become the candidate of change. That's what's really key. All those demographic blocks are important. I mean, she's killing the numbers with women, killing the numbers with younger women. She's stabilized and brought up to level older voters and Hispanic voters. She's going to keep working on that. But listen, I think that the real key is going to be not so much on undecided voters. I don't think there are that many of them. I think the key will be unregistered voters and how many of them are going to be newly voting. And I think there's a lot of that going under the radar.
Yeah, we're actually going to do a segment on that a little bit later on in the show because some of the numbers of new registrations are pretty impressive and, in fact, record-setting. But if you look, Megyn, at the new FEC filings over the weekend, Kamala Harris raised 4 times as much as Donald Trump, $257 million just in August. How do you spend that to get to that small 1 to whatever you think the percentage is, and how do you message?
Well, I think that the campaign has been on the ground in a lot of these states for over a year. The Biden campaign put together an impressive operation before the vice president took over for the top of the ticket. So I do think it's a lot about boots on the ground. Obviously, it's being on air and on radio that gets your message out. But a lot of it is just being on the ground and having people knocking doors and talking to voters. That is extremely important. And the voter turnout is going to be really important. I think that's one of the things that's really going to decide North Carolina and Georgia. It's getting those voters to turn out for the Democrats. I think in North Carolina, with some of the stuff at the top of the ticket, it's going to have some Republicans staying home, but it's also going to prompt some Democrats who may have stayed home to turn out. So that's all these things help when you are, winning in the coffers and then not having to pay legal fees. So it's helpful for her.
Mark, even with a lot of the map uncertain, Democrats feel they have a chance to flip Donald Trump's home state of Florida. Listen to DNC Chair Jamie Harrison on that.
Florida is in play. Florida.
What makes Florida in play?
Well, I think there's so many dynamics, and I talked about this earlier. Again, for the first time in 30 years, you got Democrats running in every seat in the state house, the state senate, and on the congressional level.
Okay, to state the obvious, Mark, running for office and winning are 2 different things, right? So it's great if you have candidates up and down the ballot, and maybe that does drive turnout to some extent. But do you see anything that suggests part of the money that she is taking in, and again, it is significantly more than Donald Trump, should be spent in Florida, that it would be money well spent?
Zero. It would be a total waste of money. And my message to Harris and Democrats, not that they need it, is don't be seduced by that. If you're winning Florida or Texas, you got a 400 vote electoral victory. Put every cent you can into every swing state And that's why really smart people like David Plepper at that campaign, you got 500 options that you could be doing. You got to pick the 5 that are going to make you win and disregard all the other noise.
Meghan Hayes, it's great to have you in here in person. Thanks for coming in. Mark McKinnon, stay close.